It's a new week, and tariffs are still in the news. Plus, we're going to talk about the impacts of weather on planting season and a lot more on today's episode of the Arkansas AgCast, which starts right now.
You're listening to the Arkansas AgCast, where we discuss the latest news, trends, and issues impacting Arkansas farmers and ranchers. Our show is brought to you by the Arkansas Farm Bureau Federation and hosted by Jason Brown and John Nickman.
Hello. Happy Thursday, gents.
How's it going?
Going pretty good.
Yeah.
It feels like it's been a little bit of a long week, but a short year. How are we already at April 10th? My question.
Yeah, it's moved pretty quickly.
We're already into spring, I think. I saw a map this morning that said basically if you're south of I-40, you can plant. Mm-hmm. If you're north, you might want to hold on. Really, that northwest corner and down a few counties from there.
Yeah.
Don't plant those flowers or vegetables just yet.
Yeah. On the row crop side of it, it doesn't sound like a whole lot. I mean, there has been planting in northeast Arkansas, but the majority of it's been in southeast.
We're going to talk a little bit about that. You may be surprised at what you find out.
Well, it was updated, what,
Monday? Yep. Yeah. And we're gonna have those latest numbers, and I'm going to talk to you about what we've done this year, what we did last year at this time, and what we've done in the 5-year. And I tell you, I was a little bit surprised. So we'll just have to wait and see.
The suspense is killing me.
Yeah, especially when you're reading it right now. You're going ahead and just finding out what I'm going to talk about. So
well, that's wrong. I don't agree with that. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm jealous of your vest. I walked down here and immediately, I left mine out in the truck today, and I'm walking down here and I'm immediately thinking it's cold.
A thin shirt today.
Yeah, I like it though.
It's a new shirt. You like it?
I could tell it was new.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, it's nice. Thank you.
I hope you're going to plan to wear that on Easter.
I've got another one similar to this. It'll be a hard decision.
Well,
yeah.
Certainly keep us updated on that.
It's a tough problem.
Whichever direction you decide to go.
It's been weighing on my mind heavily.
I bet. Brian, what's up? How's your week going?
It's going pretty good. Yeah. Been a little crazy, but it's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
So it has not felt like it's taken us a long time to get to Thursday for you. Has it felt like the week has moved by pretty quick?
It's moved by pretty fast.
Yeah. Oh, but you had a road trip this week, and that I forgot about that.
Yep.
So
scouting event for our summer conference. So.
Officers and leaders.
Yeah.
In Rogers this summer.
Yes.
July 17th and 18th. If I'm not mistaken, July 17th and 18th.
Yeah.
And looking forward to that. Being back in Rogers for the first time in a little while.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Has it been 2 years?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Well,
3?
May have been longer. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, looking forward to that this summer. So everything looking good up there?
Looking good.
All
yeah.
right.
I'm excited about it.
It's in the same venue?
Same venue.
Cool.
The John Q. Hammonds Convention Center. Basically the convention center attached to the embassy suites up there.
Yep.
So anyway, that's exciting. Let me see what else is going on. We're going to talk about weather here in a minute too, like we said. But how about one final update on the AgCast bracketology?
Here, let me pull
I guess Florida won the national championship.
They did.
And that's really all we got. So, all right, moving on. Let's talk about...
Whoa. So now that I got that app filled out, when you win, it does this really cool thing where it says you're the champion and like confetti pops up when you open the app. You've seen that before?
No, I've
never seen that before.
Oh, has anybody in this room seen that?
I can close it and open it back up so you can watch it.
Oh, wow. Humble.
If you can't tell, I'm very excited that of the total challenge, won the bracket challenge this year. Of course, that means of all the AgCast podcasters here.
Listeners you
mean you people. All.
Yeah.
So, but that we kind of separated it out this year, right? So we're going to award some nice prizes or prize to one of our fans that finished the highest out of all of our fans in the bracket. And that winner it was a close heat. Preston Tackett and Mark Morgan went head to head in the final match. Mark had Houston and Preston had Florida.
Yeah.
And I was texting Mark, each day last weekend when Houston won that semifinal game or the Final Four game. He was ecstatic.
So
I'm sure.
So was I, because I had picked Houston.
Yeah. So I was just like, man, I kind of wanted Houston to win as like a underdog fan, but I had Florida picked for a reason because I know my stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So,
Well, I mean, we'll crown you king later.
Yeah, exactly.
I did not bring the crown today.
Well, I just want to make a point, and this is probably the point you're going to make, so go ahead.
It probably wasn't the point I was going to make, but we'll see.
Brian,
I don't want to take it away from you.
Brian had Florida picked.
He came in second.
He came in second.
And you know what? You only beat him by 20 points.
20 points.
Which is nothing in the grand scheme of things. And then Brian beat the person in third place by 30 points.
You know what people will remember?
What?
It's not that 20-point margin.
It's just the fact that you
It's
won.
the fact of the winner. Because
If you
I
were
have
not
not
first or
forgotten
last.
that Brian won last year and I came in second. So
I will say
that's
there's
pretty-
a trend of you two guys kind of knowing your stuff. I will say that.
Well, what did me in was not believing in the Hogs. I just didn't feel them winning a game, and I
Sure.
just didn't pick them at all.
I felt
didn't
like
pick them
my-
to get first round.
I felt like my Homer fanboy pick was them winning the first round.
Yeah.
I thought that was a stretch.
Yeah, that did it.
Yeah.
So
But I did not expect them to go to the Sweet 16.
No, I had
Yeah.
St. John going to the Final Four.
Well,
that's what
honestly,
kind of doomed me.
what I was going to say, if you look at this was an incredibly fun tournament to watch.
Yeah, it
It
was.
was.
If you look at it across the board, it could have been anybody.
Oh,
I mean, that game.
hands down.
Look how many games were decided by 2 points, 3 points.
Houston only lost by 2 points.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? 2
Exactly.
points, 3
Exactly.
points?
Could have been anybody.
There was 2 or 3 games that Florida came back within, from like 10 or 15 point deficits.
Yeah.
Their game against Texas Tech was very similar to ours.
Yeah.
We were just on the opposite side of that,
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
then like Duke lost to Houston.
I was going to
in
say,
that same fashion in the last,
how
like,
Houston
60
beat Duke.
seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Houston
Well,
beat Duke in the last.
and to that point, my mom pointed out to me, we beat Florida.
Yeah.
We beat
Oh,
Florida.
really? In the
In
regular,
the regular
season?
season.
Huh.
Pretty convincingly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So by that token, we could have been champs.
Yeah.
But we didn't officially say it, but congratulations to Preston Tackett.
Yes. Congrats.
The first
And-
place in the listener
and beyond
division.
that, thank you for participating.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
for sure.
It just please participate again next year. I hope
Yeah.
we have even more. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was kind of we talked about doing this, opening the whole challenge up to listeners.
Yeah.
We were probably a little late in announcing it, so maybe next year we'll
be
announce it a
on the
little
go.
earlier and push it. And
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
it'll be even more exciting. I mean, we had
Absolutely.
with us included, there was 9 people in the challenge. Well, you can't you can't really count Will, who was the first person to join the group that didn't
He
fill
almost
out
beat me, though.
didn't fill out his
Oh,
bracket.
he didn't even fill his bracket
That's
out. He almost
hilarious.
beat me. I was riding high a couple weeks ago. I was in second place, and
Yeah.
I ended up in last if you don't count Will. So, I'd like to find more ways to do that and get our listeners and viewers involved and stuff like that, because I
But
think it's a lot of fun.
Heath Donner came in second of our fans.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
but he's first in our hearts.
That's nuts.
The peanut correspondent. How about that? All right, well, that's fun. Speaking of sports, it's also Masters week, and I just got to tell you guys that I'm a fan. I heard a joke somewhere, something about not watching any golf or not paying attention, but this when the Masters comes on, it's like moth to a flame.
it's a thing.
It's a whole thing for everybody. And I watched some of the par 3 yesterday and some of the highlights from that. Boy, if that's not the most wholesome, one of the most wholesome things you'll ever see in golf. Did you
All the
see
kids.
Rory McIlroy's
I did not. I didn't get to see it.
3-year-old daughter, Poppy, hit like probably a 15-footer putt?
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw a hole-in-one cup out, rim out.
Wow.
I mean, there was some cool stuff yesterday. Some wives who were caddying took to the tee a few times. It's just really fun to see all that.
One thing I will say, and I don't mean it negatively, but if you notice with all these major tournaments in golf, the Masters refers to the people, the fans that are there as patrons, right? And they say it constantly. And I don't know, that's kind of a pet peeve for me.
Yeah.
But now it will be for you. Now that I said it, you'll notice it.
All right. I was telling John before we came on that I'm thinking about making up some pimento cheese in honor of the Masters, some homemade pimento cheese. I've never made homemade pimento cheese, but I found a recipe last night that sounded pretty good. Apparently, President Jimmy Carter's wife's recipe, Southern Living, says it's the best pimento cheese you can make.
I will say, I'm sure a lot of our listeners have had like homemade pimento cheese.
Sure.
But there is a wide margin of difference between what you can buy at the store and what you can make at home.
It's not
Absolutely.
the same thing.
It's night and day difference.
It's not the same dish.
I'll tell you, the absolute best homemade, it's in a restaurant, but the best I've ever had, Capitol Hotel.
I was about to
Really?
I was going to ask you if you want to say it at the same time.
Yeah.
Just to see. It is the best pimento cheese you'll ever eat.
It's incredible.
I can
That's
assure you.
random, but yeah, now
It's
I'm
No,
intrigued.
man. And they put it on like a soda cracker. I mean, they serve it with like a soda cracker kind
Well,
of thing.
I'll tell you, it
It's-
felt random when it got brought up. The guy said, "You need to try our pimento cheese." I'm like, "Pimento cheese?"
Yeah. Yeah, and you can get it in the bar and grill.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
You
incredible.
can get it to go. Oh, man. It's nobody can touch it.
Well,
You know, I've never.
I'm curious.
Does pardon me. What's the my mind has gone blank. The place that serves the turkey, Burgess in the Heights. Do they have pimento cheese? Feels like a place that would. Okay.
I don't know, possibly.
do you like pimento cheese on your burger?
Yeah, for
Absolutely.
sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's flavors on point, but it gets too rich for me. Like
Oh, really?
after half the burger, I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I've had enough.
We've had one.
No. Yeah, we have.
We it was after the fair, wasn't it?
Was it the one at y'all know the place?
Yes.
The root.
Oh, was it the Root?
was
Okay,
the
it's the
Root.
Root. I couldn't remember if it was the Root or their other place that's not open anymore
No, it was the root cafe.
that we went to
It
for
was
Rock
Yeah.
City Burger Week.
Yep.
phenomenal.
Yeah, Mockingbird,
Oh yeah.
which is not open anymore.
Is it not? That was
They,
a good burger.
they sold it to that. They sold it to a family, and then that family sold it to an employee. Right after we went last time, you remember us
Interesting.
going?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The guy that waited on us bought it, and it was done 2 months later.
Wow.
Yep.
This is a little off topic,
Unfortunate.
but was it
the Root.
local Luna and Red Door were bought out by a different group?
Yes,
Have y'all been there yet?
I haven't.
I hadn't either.
Have not.
I was curious to.
Had the chance the other day because we were going to Wright's after the women's leadership conference, and the line was out in the parking
Talk
lot.
about
And so I was like, well, we got a audible here, and we ended up at the Mexican restaurant, but we should have
Okay.
gone to
one of the best burgers in town. Wright's.
that
Really?
Smash Burger.
I can't say that it's the best because I don't really know. I hadn't had them all, but
But it is. It's up there, 100%.
People
I
go
got
there to
it
get
on
the
a whim
barbecue.
one
It's hard
day.
for me to get the barbecue knowing that cheeseburger.
I know. I think about it the same way.
Yeah.
The same time.
Well, I know what I'm getting
I'll
next.
tell you who else does this is DeLuca's. If you never
Ooh,
had
That's
that
what
burger,
I've heard.
It's good
boy,
too.
you go in there and you're like, man, I want the pizza, but I cannot stop thinking about that burger.
I've heard it's shareable. It's so big.
It is.
Yeah,
And it's like
on
a
their
meatball.
appetizer list.
Yeah.
It is. It is. Yep. It doesn't. You can't get like burger and fries or something like that. You would just get it.
Our waitress, we went there. We finally got to go try it in
in West Little Rock?
Yeah, in West Little Rock.
Oh.
And we went there for our anniversary, but the the waitress, we were asking her about it, and she kind of leaned in. She's like, honestly, that's the only thing I eat here.
Yeah.
She
it's
loves
so,
it.
It's so good.
I've
It
heard
is.
it's really good. So.
It's a cheeseburger with like hot pickles on it. Not like real spicy, but they're
I'm
kind
telling
of.
you that I've only had it once, and when I had it, it was the burger patty and cheese.
Yeah, and it's not a smash burger. It's like a thick.
It looks like a meatball kind
Yeah,
of.
yeah.
Like y'all know how we've all grilled burgers before where they kind of turn into meatballs instead of a burger patty. That's kind of what
Yeah.
it looks like to me. But it truly has to be one of the, you hear burger places talk about their blend of, this cut of meat and that cut of meat or what. It's got to be just what it is. The
Wright's,
the
it's
quality of meat.
Wright's is their
Brisket.
like brisket trim.
Oh man,
Yeah. You got to have that one. I'm telling you, it's $12.
Yeah.
like it's the most affordable thing on the menu.
It's really
there.
good.
It's
Yeah.
really good.
yeah. I might have to go do it then.
So I'm gonna make some pimento cheese. I think I got
Nice.
I got a one of those blenders that are really nice that
Ninja?
everybody wants. No, not a blender, but a mixer.
Bullet?
No,
Margaritaville machine?
No, the mixer. I said a mixer, like a mixing bowl, like you. Oh my God! Never mind. Somebody out there is like banging their phone against the wall.
Is it like one of those little salad?
It's a
mixer
sand
bowls?
mixer. It's a sand mixer.
Sand mixer?
God, never mind. Anyway, I think I'm gonna break that bad boy out, and
We digress for sure.
yeah,
Well, send me a
exactly.
picture of it. I'm
No,
sure I'll
I'd
get
rather,
it.
I'd rather not. I'd honestly rather not talk to you about it ever again. So, matter of fact, I probably won't even tell you how to put it on cheese.
Don't
Hey,
be
let's start a
sensitive.
cooking bracket now that we're talking about all this stuff.
I was hungry when we started, and boy, am I hungry
Yeah,
now.
you're just making it
Ooh,
worse.
I hit a
Ki-
button.
KitchenAid.
KitchenAid. Oh, yeah, we got
There
one
you
of
go.
those.
KitchenAid.
Could not get
Yeah.
that. You gotta have one.
Yeah,
Much
we got
sourdough
one.
that goes out, in your house.
Yeah, you got all the attachments and everything. It's great.
Anyway,
I wouldn't mix sand in it, though.
You knew what I was talking
Probably
about.
avoid
I love how John was just going to name everything.
He knew exactly what I was talking
Mr.
about
Coffee.
the whole time. It just Margaritaville. Like, come on,
No, a
man.
mixer. Oh, okay, margarita.
Oh, boy. Anyway, all right. So
Too much fun on the show.
we do. I guess we'll stop having fun and start giving people some information they can use. The Foundation Trap Shoot, if you didn't know or didn't catch last week's episode, just a reminder that's happening on June the 6th. I have seen the registration form on your desk, so I know you are working on that. Registration's open now, looking for teams and sponsors, I should say. So, pardon me. If you're interested in either one of those, you can reach out at Amanda Williams here at the state office, and she'll get you fixed up.
Yep, it's a fun time.
Yep. All right. Well, before we get into the news, let's just hit this crop progress and quality report. If you've ever listened to the show, you know we cover this every week. This report is issued by USDA every Monday once the growing season gets moving along. And so right now I can tell you that the only thing in the ground, as far as USDA knows, is corn, rice, and soybeans. So those are the three that we'll hit today.
Yeah.
As of Monday, corn was at 31% planted across the state. Last year at this time, we were at 20% planted, and the 5-year average is 13% planted. So we are more than double progress on the 5-year average. 12% of the crop has emerged. We're going to talk about why that's a problem here in a few. Rice, 15% planted this year. Last year at this time, we were at 12%. The 5-year average is 6% planted. So again, a little bit more than double than the normal 5-year average. 2% of the crop was emerged as of Monday, and then soybeans are at 11%. Last year at this time, 0. No soybeans planted, and the 5-year average is also 0. So I think that's a reflection, probably. 1% of the crops emerged. This is probably a reflection of the, I'd say, moderate winter and early spring weather that we saw. We've heard a lot of folks talk about the ability to get out, work ground, get things going early on in March, even in February to an extent. We saw that because before we got all this rain and the system moved through last week, the whole state was under a burn ban. We were so dry because it's
roller
been so
coaster
long.
of
So
weather events.
yeah, really has been.
But I initially thought that rice planting was a little early this year. I don't know if it was a 6th sense or what.
Yeah.
But this is saying I was right. But
Yeah, well, exactly.
it's 3%. Come on, man, it's not that big of a difference.
Over last year, but
Yeah.
over the 5-year,
Yeah.
come
Oh yeah,
on.
yeah, it's huge.
Now we're going to talk about again why this could be an issue.
Yeah, and what was it like 2012? It seemed like people were planting rice in February.
Yeah,
Yeah. But that was a huge drought. And that was right after that big 2011 flood too. So
Yep, that's right.
But you want to get in the news?
Let's do it.
Okay. Tariffs. Have you heard enough about tariffs yet?
No, I need more.
It was 2 weeks ago. I was like, we hadn't talked about tariffs in a while.
Yeah, exactly.
Now it's probably going to be a
gonna be
weekly
weekly.
thing from maybe for the next 4 years. Who knows? So this tariff war is excelling quickly and changing weekly, if not almost daily, Jason. The latest news regarding tariffs is now focused on soybeans. So let's go ahead and get into what all that entails. Jason, was it 2 weeks ago? Like I said, we gave updated numbers on tariff rates.
I think so.
Well, go ahead and forget about everything I said last week. Not too much, but for the most part. Last week, President Trump announced tariffs on 180 different countries. That's a big number.
Yeah, that's a lot.
This included a 34% tariff on all Chinese goods. And in response, China imposed a 34% tariff on U.S. goods a few days later. Just in that week, the total tariff amount imposed by China on all U.S. goods came to 60%. Fast forward to this week, the two countries continued exchanging blows, with the U.S. increasing duties on imports from China to a total of 104%. China, in turn, punched back with an additional 50% tariff on U.S. goods. So let's do the maths here.
Yeah.
I'm so good at. That 50%, along with the 34% and the previous 10% from a few weeks ago, and then add the VAT and standard duty rates, that brings the effective rate for soybeans imported into China from U.S. to 114.73%. That's insane. Again, President Trump responded in the middle of last week announcing a 90-day tariff pause. Or was that this week?
That was this morning.
Week? This morning or last night, whatever.
Yeah.
On all countries except China. During the pause, the tariff rate would be brought down to 10%. However, for China standalone, the U.S. tariff rate on all U.S. goods from China will increase to a total of 125%.
Yep.
As we continue to watch this fight between the two countries unfold, the 60% tariff on U.S. soybeans is already twice as high as what it was during the 2018 trade war, at a time when U.S. exports to China are already at a multi-year low. While China is still the top export market for U.S. soybeans, it is important to remember that China isn't the top destination for all U.S. exports anymore. However, China still is a large market for soybeans. The American Soybean Association, or ASA, now estimates that this could cost U.S. farmers $5.9 billion annually if this continues down this path.
My goodness. Well, like you said, it's evolving. Really, sometimes multiple times a day, but at least daily.
And it sounds like there might be some negotiations going on.
EU dropped their...
Like this is happening out here in front of us, but there may be something going on behind the scenes. But that's, again, speculation that we don't really get into.
Yeah, I did read this morning, though, that the EU had dropped their retaliations based on the 90-day pause.
Yeah.
So that's something. We certainly saw the market go nuts yesterday as he announced that pause, and that was yesterday. I'm sorry, I misled you earlier. So, yeah, there's just a lot of movement and motion. It really seems like this is like the thing happening right now.
Yeah.
So anyway, we'll have to keep an eye out because I bet you it'll change by the time we sit down in these chairs next Thursday.
Next week we'll have something different to report. If we don't, I'll be shocked.
Yeah. I'm going to talk a little bit about tariffs also, although I will tell you, as we embark on planting season, many farmers are thinking about inputs for the crops that they are sowing. Oliver Ward with AgriPulse says there could be some relief from sweeping new tariffs. And in his reporting, Oliver says certain ag inputs will be exempt from those 10% across the board duties and higher reciprocal duties applied to specific trade partners, according to a detailed list of carve-outs from the White House. Among the products excluded are potash, certain herbicides and pesticides, peat, lumber products, lubricating oils, some energy products, and certain pharmaceuticals, including tranquilizers and vaccines for veterinary use. Now, while the exemptions apply to the new 10% duties and reciprocal tariffs that went into effect on April 5th and April 9th, which was yesterday, the list does not apply to the 25% tariffs already in place on Mexico and Canada, even though Canada is a major supplier of some of the articles that I just listed. Now, let's dive a little deeper here to understand how some imports will be subject to tariffs, even if they seemingly qualify. Look at peat, for example. The U.S. receives the vast majority of its peat imports from Canada, according to data from World Integrated Trade Solution. Those that do not qualify for duty-free treatment under the U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement would remain subject to duties under the fentanyl emergency declaration issued in February. So that's at play too here, especially with Canada and Mexico. The U.S. imports around 90% of its potash, with Canada alone making up about 80% of that import market. Although Canadian potash that is covered under the USMCA can still enter the U.S. without being subject to duties, imports that don't qualify for duty-free treatment will still be subjected to the existing 10% duties imposed under the executive order related to Canada's tariffs. In other words, some but not all imports will be subject to tariffs. Oliver notes here that ag industry representatives have been calling for exemptions to fresh produce and food products that the U.S. does not produce domestically, but none were included in the list of exempted products.
Yeah, you got like avocados and bananas and coffee.
Yeah.
I think we were talking to somebody today, and I was like, man, coffee makes this country run.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no doubt.
And if you go to Starbucks, what are you spending a day on coffee?
Yeah.
And I don't know. That's just...
My coffee pot didn't turn on this morning. And so
it's got you now.
The last thing I do is pour that coffee in before I walk out the door, and I got down there and it had not turned on. I'm like, golly, now I got to stop at Starbucks and spend $6.
I also saw something the other day. I was kind of thinking of like, a company like Walmart or Target and all these garments and stuff that come from overseas, or Apple that builds all their phones overseas.
Yeah.
The prices for those, how far are they going to go up? But also saw something the other day that like all these Christmas decorations, Christmas themed products and stuff come from overseas as well.
Yeah.
So if you may not see a whole lot of those items on the shelf this year, is what that article was kind of saying.
If they price out the market,
your coffee pot's mad at you for buying a KitchenAid.
That's it. That's it. Yeah. Well, I know what happened. It got switched off. I've got it on a timer, and somehow the switch got flipped off. But anyway, probably something I did.
User error.
Yeah, that's most likely the case. Let's take a minute to talk about the Arkansas Farm Trail. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it. Hey, Arkansas, strawberry season is here, and there's no better time to hit the Arkansas Farm Trail to load up on those delicious Arkansas treats.
The Arkansas Farm Trail is a brand new way to connect with local farmers across our state. You've heard us talk about it before. More than 20 farms in 16 counties are opening their gates to you.
Oh, yeah.
From fresh fruits and veggies to meats, grains, and canned goods, these are real working farms where you can buy straight from the source.
Yeah, that's right. Right now, strawberries are in season. They're ripe, juicy, and ready to pick. Grab your Arkansas Farm Trail passport at any participating farm, your local county farm bureau office, or download one at arfarmtrail.com. Each time you make a purchase at a farm on the trail, you'll earn a stamp. Collect enough, and you could win awesome prizes, including a grand prize custom fire pit built by Arkansas FFA students.
Look, it's fun, it's a great way to travel the state, and it's all about supporting Arkansas farmers. So pack up the family, hit the road, and make some sweet memories this strawberry season. Learn more at arfarmtrail.com. All right.
I got one more story, as usual. Mm-hmm. I don't know why I always say that.
Yeah.
It just comes out.
Yeah, like, hey, they listen. They know we do four of these
One
things.
of these days, I'm like, this is my second of three.
Yeah. And I'll walk out.
Yeah. We won't make it that far. But anyways, we're always trying to diversify our commodity-specific news here on the show, right, Jason?
Right. Yep.
We tried, we do speak a lot about row crops, but we're a row crop-heavy state. We speak it, almost about the same about livestock. But one thing that seldomly comes up, and I think our forestry division will be really happy to hear some of this news.
Yeah, let's get into it.
So USDA made a big announcement regarding the forestry industry and national forests last week. So let's check out what that actually is. U.S. Secretary of Agriculture Brooke Rollins issued a secretarial memo to establish an emergency situation determination on 112.6 million acres of national forestry system land. This memo comes after President Donald J. Trump's executive order to expand American timber production by 25% and gives authority to the U.S. Forest Service to increase work on the ground and carry out authorized emergency actions to reduce wildfire risk. Secretary Rollins was quoted saying, "Healthy forests require work, and right now we're facing a national forest emergency. We have an abundance of timber at high risk of wildfires in our national forest. I'm proud to follow the bold leadership of President Trump by empowering forest managers to reduce constraints and minimize the risk of fire, insects, and disease so that we can strengthen the American timber industry and further enrich our forests with the resources they need to thrive. Jason, I think this is good to hear the reasoning behind this because specifically our forestry division has been preaching these same issues for years.
Yeah,
the fire, wildfire, the insects. And once you get insects into your timber stand, then the wildfire risk grows even more.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
The memo issued by Secretary Rollins is part of a larger effort to ensure American resources are properly managed for future generations. According to USDA's news release, this work will support rural economies, reduce wildfire risk, and build capacity through workforce alignment and expand partnerships. This memo will also spur immediate action from the U.S. Forest Service directing field leadership to increase timber outputs, simplify permitting, remove National Environmental Policy Act processes, reduce implementation and contracting burdens, and also to work directly with states, local government, and forest product producers to ensure that the Forest Service delivers a reliable and consistent supply of timber. So good news.
Yeah, sounds all good.
Thinning out some of our national forest land could really potentially help or increase the health of those lands.
Yeah, absolutely.
And wildfires, are an important risk here, but it seems like that's a huge or much bigger problem out west, right?
I mean, we just saw that, but a couple weeks ago here, I mean, they were popping up all over the state.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
That wind kicked up.
Kind of my first time to be in the middle of that. And I'll tell you, it's might be scarier than tornadoes, in my opinion.
Could be, because that thing will never stop if it catches enough fuel.
That's it. Pretty scary. Anyway, all right, John, well, listen, I'm sure every person listening right now has been impacted by severe weather, speaking of, over the past week or beyond. And we certainly know that these impacts are being felt by farmers. We've had good coverage of those impacts in the form of videos, which our audience can see on ARFB social channels. Let's take a look at row crop impacts through the eyes of George Jared's reporting for Talk Business and Politics. As we know, some portions of the state received 15 inches of rain or more. Many rivers have reached flood stage, with some not yet hitting the maximum potential. As George reports, massive flooding along many rivers, including the Black, White, Cache, St. Francis, and others, is happening as we speak. Many row crop fields along these rivers are covered with water and will be for days, if not weeks. We just reported at the top of the show how far along farmers were in planting. In all three crops, we're ahead of last year's pace and the 5-year average, as we discussed. So this begs the question, what impact does the severe weather have on what's in the ground and what's yet to be planted or replanted, depending on your situation?
Yep.
First, as Jeremy Ross, Extension Soybean Agronomist, told George Jared, there's a lot of repair work to be done. This applies to damaged fields, clearing ditches, things like that. And then come the replants, especially for the pieces of low ground, as Jared Hardkey, Extension Agronomist for rice, pointed out. He goes on to say, recently planted corn and soybeans are in for a wild ride for survival. Cool temperatures may help buy them some time, but staying flooded or saturated for 4+ days is a bad recipe for emerging seedlings and fresh planted seed. For cotton and peanut growers, they plant later in the season and will be spared for the most part from this rain event, other than the damaged fields that need to be repaired, but even that could cause delays in planting. The bad news for insurance purposes is that April 1 is the earliest planting date for rice and April 15th for soybeans. That means rice or soybeans that were already planted may not be eligible for replant payments from crop insurance.
Yeah.
So
that'll be tough.
We were talking earlier, planting seems to be moving back further, earlier and earlier, especially given whatever the weather is. And we know that. We're seeing that in that USDA reporting. But the risk there is events like this may put you out of the replant coverage.
That's just so much that goes into it.
We're not crop insurance experts, but
Hunter Byron would be a good person to ask at the U of A.
Yeah, sure, that's fair. So anyway, lot of impacts being felt. In livestock country and row crop country alike. But but anyway, so there we go. All right, we're wrapped up.
I've got one more story.
We'll go for it.
Knock it out.
I got a little tickled because for a second there, I thought you were going to say Hunter Biden, and you said Hunter Byron.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
But yes, Hunter Byron. So it's been a while, but you guys ready to play?
Stump the host.
Yes, we are.
Bring it on. Yeah, here we go.
Okay. I'll let you guys pick.
You're up first.
Right now, I've got general, entertainment, science, arts.
I have not picked entertainment in 2 weeks, so I'm going to pick entertainment.
Okay, entertainment then.
Oh, boy.
In The Simpsons,
Oh, I wasn't allowed to watch it.
what is the
So I'm
name
toast
of the
already.
Springfield football team?
I don't know.
Well, there's a nuclear plant.
Oh,
You are correct.
The Adams.
Are they the Adams?
They're the Adams.
Were they really?
How about that?
How about that, buddy?
Okay, you got
We
one.
got it.
So,
All right.
what's next?
What are the categories again?
General, science, arts.
Not tough.
I can refresh the board.
No, we don't ever refresh the board.
General.
We just take it as it comes.
General. All right, let me
That
just.
means you're leaving.
What
me
was the
with this.
original name of the popsicle?
Oh my goodness.
You know what's weird is that
Otter Pop.
there's a I think it's on the History Channel. It's how was America made?
Uh-huh.
And like they talk about things like that. How did the popsicle come around? So is popsicle a trademark name, or is that just a reference to the actual thing?
Well,
So you're talking about a company name or product?
popsicle is what it became. So the, most inventions a lot of times were named after
much
the
more-
inventor.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's named after the guy's name.
I just remember that.
I gave my answer already.
I can see that he started out like on the beach in California maybe or something, but couldn't figure out how to keep them cold enough. Like he could have them in the winter, but nobody wanted them in the winter because they were cold.
Cool story, Grandpa.
Yeah. So I can't remember what he did. Use dry ice or something to keep them cold in the summer.
Yeah.
And
Kept sticking to everybody's face.
Yeah. So yeah, you learned something today. You're welcome, Jason.
It just makes me
Sand
think of
mixer
that
boy.
line that like you sell ketchup popsicles to a woman in white gloves or something like that. Yeah.
I don't know. Mr. Miller's ice on a stick.
I
would've
said
been-
Otter Pops.
Otter Pops? No. It was the Epsicle,
Epsicle. So sickle was
named
in
after
there.
Frank Epperson, the inventor.
Yeah, that was that cat.
Yep. That's the guy.
That was
the
a
one.
cat. I didn't know
All right.
what you meant at first.
I still have another general, got science, got arts.
We probably should have switched to the board there.
Yeah, because you took general right out from under me, which it turns out I was okay with. Science.
They're just making
So
it harder.
dumb. I know, but I'm not. I've already said like, hey, we take what comes at us. We're not going to change the
Nobody's
board.
going to tell us we're in trouble for switching the board
That's true.
or take points away.
I'm wondering how hard I should make this for you.
Oh boy.
It doesn't take much.
Yeah.
What failed IBM computer was advertised by a Charlie Chaplin impersonator?
What IBM? What
Computer.
IBM computer.
It's a specific IBM.
It was a failed computer. It was and a Charlie Chaplin impersonator apparently introduced it, advertised it, not introduced it, but advertised it.
I don't know that I could name a
It is so obscure I don't even remember it.
Okay. All
Poppy.
right. Well, that says a lot. What is it?
Science.
I called him Poppy.
Oh,
So-
yeah. Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Because Commodore was its own.
Correct.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't even know where to start.
I don't know. We had an IBM computer. Phoenix?
No.
What is their deal, Watson? The Watson.
That's a good guess, but no.
What was that paperclip that you could ask questions that would pop up on your screen?
That's Microsoft.
Oh, that is Microsoft.
Yeah, that was
Clippy. I
what
think
was
his
that?
name is
Yeah,
Clippy. or
Clippy, like
something
Windows
that.
95.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they tell you a
no,
joke.
it wasn't that. It was the PC Junior.
PC Junior. Wow.
Yeah,
How about that? I'll take that home with me.
That was
you
from
go.
the 80s.
that's
it says.
That's what I got for you today.
Was it one of those like little bitty monitor screens with a giant?
No,
tube?
it looks like a computer we actually had, but at my house. I don't know what Charlie Chaplin had anything to do with it, but this is right about the time of Math Blasters. People would probably say Oregon Trail.
Or,
I mean, that's kind of what the screen had all the twisty knobs on it,
Yeah.
the monitor.
Yeah.
But then it's set on the.
This
it
was-
looks like a standard.
Yeah.
Early, I'd say mid 90s, early
So
to
this
mid 90s
was primetime
computer.
Microsoft DOS.
But it was in the
Oh, yeah.
80s.
It was
It
DOS,
was in
for
the
sure.
80s for sure. It was the
Floppy
campaign
disks.
theme was a tool for modern times.
Yep.
So
There you go.
how about that? All right. Well, you're always going to learn something here. Isn't that the truth?
It's true. Whether it's true or not, you'll learn it.
We'll say it, whether we know about it or whether we know it's true or not. All right. Well, I guess we'll wrap this thing up and get on out of here.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's the news for this week. Thanks for following along with the Arkansas AgCast. We're grateful for you taking the time to watch and listen.
Absolutely. Remember, you can catch new episodes of the show every Thursday afternoon. Find video episodes on Facebook and YouTube. Listen to the audio version wherever you listen to podcasts.
Make sure you subscribe and leave us a review when you have a few extra minutes. The Arkansas AgCast is brought to you by the Arkansas Farm Bureau. I'm Jason Brown,
And I'm John McMahon.
and we'll see you next week.